different than the frequency of the problem. But if there were not a problem, there could not be a solution. And without that contrasting experience of your life, there could be no motion forward. There would be no expansion. There could be no evolution of species. There could be no evolution of ideas. There would be no eternity. In other words, it's all part of the perfect process. So if you find yourself in a place where you cannot find the solution, just relax a little bit. Give yourself a break and say, I must be in the frequency of the problem. And you sort of know you are when you're saying, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, or where is it, or why doesn't it come to me, or why does he get it and I don't, or how come life is better for them than it is for me. In other words, those things that you say and those things that you feel when you are out of sync with your solutions only mean that you are still in the step one part of the creation process. Step one says, ask. And asking comes forth from you because of the contrast that you are living. So during these days that we are together, it is our desire that you come to a softening of being mad at yourself, visible to you, where you don't beat up on yourself when you feel yourself filled with negative emotion, which is your indicator that you are not in vibrational alignment with what you're asking for. When you feel negative emotion, do you think that the negative emotion that you're feeling is because you're doing something wrong? Or because someone else is displeased with where you are in the moment? Do you understand that when you feel negative emotion, it only means, and it always means, that you're just out of sync with the solution to your problem or the answer to your question? In other words, if life has caused you, as you live the contrast, to know what you don't want so that you are emanating vibrational rockets of desires about what you do want, you have set up a vibrational frequency that now a part of you is hooked into. In fact, a larger part of you. Before you came forth into this physical body, you were source energy. And even though you are now in this physical body, the larger part of you still remains of this non-physical energy. So when you, in your physical format, know what you don't want so you know what you do want, you send out a rocket of desire, a vibrational request, so to speak, exactly so to speak. And the non-physical part of you becomes immediately the vibrational equivalent of not only this new amendment to your desire, this new rocket of desire, but the source within you becomes the complete vibrational embodiment of all that you have been asking for. In fact, of all that you are. When you feel negative emotion, it only means life has caused you to become more than you are right now letting yourself be. So it's a good thing that contrast exists. It's a good thing that it inspires you to more, but it doesn't work out so well for you if life inspires you to more and you don't go. During these days that we are together, we're going to call that place where your inner being dwells, that place where all that you want is amassing, we're going to refer to it as the vortex. It is the vortex of creation. It is the predominant place that law of attraction is doing its finest work. Your world, as you know it today, was created in the vortex. Even before you got here, the idea of this time-space reality was created in the vortex. And it was not until there was no resistance within the idea that it began to take form and shape. So what we're saying to you is that everything that you want, whether it is a material object or a relationship or a bodily condition or an idea, an empire, an improved government, whatever it is that you are asking for, as life causes you to ask, it has already, because of your asking, been assembled in this vortex, in this vibrational reality that is as real as the reality that you want to call, knock on wood, flesh, blood, bone reality. It is a reality that must always precede this tactile reality that you call real life. So what we want this gathering to mean for you, we want it to help you to bridge the gap between where you stand as you are beating the drum of your step one question, which is a perfectly fine place for you to be. It's why you came forth into these bodies. Not one of you said, oh, I'll go and I'll be physical, but get it all the way I want it before I get there. And then I'll just come forth and observe. And as I observe the well-being, then I will live happily ever after. And that's what I choose. Not one of you said that, because every one of you is a magnificent creator who understands the process and who knows that there cannot be a solution or an improvement or an expansion or eternity if there is not someone willing to live step one. And you all said, I'm willing, I want to live step one, but not one of you said, I'll stay in step one. You said, I'll live step one and then I'll get in the vortex and I'll reap the benefit of my asking. And then I'll live a little contrast, which is step one, and I'll ask for an improvement, and then I will get in the vortex and I will live the benefit of my asking. And what we want you to understand is that life can be so sweet as you step out for a moment and ask and then back into the vortex and live. In other words, not one of you intended to be outside of this vortex of creation. Now, we want to describe this to you because what it is, you've heard us talking and others talking about law of attraction, and you are giving your attention to anything, whatever it is that you are giving your attention to in the moment, has a vibrational frequency, and as you give your attention to it for as little as 17 seconds, you begin to acclimate to the vibrational frequency of it, which may mean that you are, vibrationally speaking, moving away from the frequency of who you really are. Who you really are knows your value unequivocally. Who you really are knows your value and knows why you have come and is unconditional love at all times. When you find something, and you often do, that doesn't please you, that bothers you, and you push against it shouting no at it, that feeling of discord that you feel as you are speaking your protest about this unwanted thing is your indicator that you have free will, certainly, to give your attention to that. Not only free will in the sense that you're allowed, but free will in the sense that it was your intention to come forth to explore because the contrast is necessary for the expansion. But when you feel that negative emotion, what it always means is you've gone into a vibrational frequency that is different from your vortex. You've gone someplace that the source within you does not go. So what that means is you're having a step one moment, which means when you're out there on the raw and bleeding edge, or is it leading edge? Well, it is raw and bleeding edge. When you're out there in that uncomfortable place, all raw and ragged, the reason that it feels like it does is because you have stepped apart from who you really are. But in that slight departure, just as you knew you would, you are asking for something further than has been asked for before. You are uniquely who you are. And as you're having that step one experience, you are asking. Now, once step one happens, step two happens immediately. And what happens with step two is, as you shoot off that rocket of desire, and you don't even have to speak words about it, do you? You know don't you know more clearly that you want wellness when you're sick? Don't you know more clearly that you want more financial abundance when you don't have enough? Don't you know more clearly that you want clarity when you're confused or balance when you're wobbling? Don't you know by what you're living what you want? So when you think about all that you have become, there is a vortex that has assembled, and this is the part that we so want you to hear right here at the outset. In this vibrational reality that is amassing, and by the way, components of it you put there before you entered this physical body, and components you have put there every day since. This vibrational amassing, this broader part of you, this who you really are, law of attraction is predominantly, way more responding to this vibrational aspect of who you are than this physical, human, in the moment aspect of who you are. So here is this amassing. And what this means, and this is the part that we so want you to hear, all cooperative components are being drawn into this vortex by the powerful law of attraction. So when you've asked for more money, the specifics of what you've asked for, and you don't even know the specifics you've asked for because you've done it so incrementally. When you wanted that, you put it there, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. You want freedom, you want growth, you want joy, you want life, you want love, you want cooperation, you want stuff, you want things, you want a big screen TV, you want a better running car. In other words, you've been putting it all there, and it's all amassing, and all cooperative components have already been summoned. They're not on their way there, they're there. Because everything that is necessary for the creation of anything is already in your vortex. The question that this workshop wants to ask and help you answer is, where are you in vibrational relationship to all of this? Are you? This is the only thing you ever need to wonder about yourself. Am I a cooperative component to all that I have become? In other words, am I in the vortex? Am I in the vortex? Well, let us tell you how you know. When you're in the vortex, you feel good. When you're in the vortex, you're smarter than usual. When you're in the vortex, you have balance and things don't bother you. When you're in the vortex, cooperative components show themselves to you all day, every day. When you're in the vortex, it seems as if, and as others watch you, it really looks like it to them, you barely speak your appreciation of something. Thought, the perfect conversation, the perfect rendezvous, the perfect evidence, the perfect everything about life is just there as you walk through life. It's like you're walking across the pond, and every time you reach your foot out, a stone puts itself there to keep your lily whites dry. You just walk and move, and the cooperative universe says, we know you'd like this, we know you'd like this, you've already requested this, how about this? You have time for this today? What about this? Would you like this? Would you like this? Would you like this? And you move through life saying, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I remember asking for that. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. But then what happens sometimes, pretty often, sometimes, you turn on CNN or something, or you go to work, or your wife comes home. Any number of things could do it. And you find yourself out of the vortex. Out of the vortex and not in vibrational frequency. And it's like now the universe has cut you off. It's like instead of lights changing and traffic opening and things going well for you, it's like drawers are slamming on your fingers and things are dropping on your feet and bill collectors are calling and unpleasant things are happening. And we say, just get back in the vortex. But most often you say, well, wouldn't that be nice if I could just do that? But there is something so compelling or something so big. People say, Abraham, it doesn't feel like I'm thinking these negative thoughts. It's like these negative thoughts are thinking me. And we want you to understand that if you could just make peace with not being in the vortex, you'd get right back in. It's your struggle. It's your complaining. It's your resistance. It's your justification. It's your rationalization. It's your blaming. It's your guilting. It's your wailing. It's your conversation. It's your blogging. We love you very much. That holds you outside of where everything that you've been asking for is assembled. But this is the most important thing that we want you to hear. It's not just that everything that you want is over here amassing in this vibrational reality. It's that the larger part of you is there. And you, sometimes by virtue of your negative conversation, are holding yourself vibrationally apart from all that you have become. You just can't have life make you be more and not be it and feel good. When you have what you call your death experience, as you have your croaking experience where you release your awareness of what's going on in this physical realm, you release resistance and you reemerge into pure positive energy. You go into the vortex and you have full view and experience of all that you have become. We just don't think you should have to croak to get in the vortex. We know that you can, by virtue of knowing that it's there and by knowing what it feels like to be there and a handful of process that will help you to get there, and most of all, and only in the vortex, I'd be dead. But here I am, fully focused, source flowing through me, exploring contrast, making this time-space reality what it was meant to be, the playground in which different than the frequency of the